our last board meeting, Shane?
No, we didn't.
Okay, did not think so, but just wanted to be sure. I think Education Committee may have had a meeting this evening. Deb, can you
Yeah,
update
hopefully I'm coming through clear enough. My Wi-Fi could use some benefits here too. The Education Committee met before earlier today. The primary topic of discussion was around starting to think about whether we offer or need to consider some level of remote learning as we think about next school year. Not even at the point of solid recommendations, just trying to get prepared. I know Jim has a good handle on what neighboring schools are starting to think about and what it might look like if we had to for a select group. I think the consensus is it wouldn't be something that we'd want to have that looks anything like it does now, unless we had to. But that there may be a need for certain populations, and we could leverage, BOCE's service or other types, those similar types, if we had to go down that path. But that was really just kind of a brainstorming discussion, if you will.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sure the policy committee has met. They meet quite a bit.
We did meet again, and we finished. Yay!
Yay!
It's so exciting. I've been reporting like we're working on 5,000, we're working on 6,000. So, so it's primarily done and has to go to Erie for them to, I guess, put it in print form or document form for us, and then it'll come back for review for the entire board. But it's definitely in much better shape than it was. Probably will need maybe some more little changes, but everything's like looking really good. And thank you to Betsy and Shane and Jim and anyone that's ever contributed, because it's been a long road, but we got there.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for taking that on as a committee member and then as the chairperson. It was a project that really needed to get done. As you know, policies can affect grants. It can affect, disciplinary issues. It can affect a lot of things. So we need to make sure they're up to date. And this was a great project that we undertook. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, I think that's it. Any other committees wanted to report on anything? Because I think those are the only ones that had meetings. Okay. Next, we can move on down the agenda to financial items. Accepting the claims auditor's report. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the claims auditor's comments on general warrant A10 dated December 2nd of 2020, general warrant A11, and capital warrants number 3 dated December 21st of 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Shane. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thanks, Teresa. Any questions or comments on the warrants that are being presented to us? Oh, okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Moving on to accepting the financial reports. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the appropriation status, budget transfer, revenue status, ECA, and treasurer's reports ending November 30th, 2020, as provided by the treasurer and recommended by the assistant superintendent. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Diane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Deb.
Oh, word.
Any questions or comments on those financial reports? Nope. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next, approving the contract with Guilderland Central School District. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the health and services contract between Guilderland Central School District and Waynesburg Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the superintendent and assistant superintendent. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. And how about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Tony. Any questions or comments on the proposed agreement? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to approving a revised employee agreement with Bassett. Recommendation, the Board of Education approve the revised employee physician services agreement with Bassett Medical Center for employees effective January 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2021, as recommended by the superintendent and assistant superintendent. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Betsy. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Jane. Any questions or comments on our revised agreement? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next, approve agreements with Colville-Skill Richmondville Central School. Recommendation, the Waynesburg Board of Education approve the agreements between Colville-Skill Richmond Central School District and Waynesburg Central School District for September 4th, 2020 to June 21st, 2021, as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent. These agreements shall not be binding on the parties until authorized and signed by each party's respective representatives. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Tony. How about a second?
A second.
Thanks, Teresa. Any questions or comments on the proposed agreements? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to approving a budget transfer. Recommendation that the Board of Education accept the transfer of funds from A2250-153,000 to A2250-400,000 for an increase due to additional speech therapy services no longer performed in-house. This is recommended by the Treasurer and Assistant Superintendent. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Diane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Betsy. Any questions or comments on the transfer of funds? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to approving the Nurse Connection staffing contract. Recommendation, the Board of Education approve the contract for registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and certified nurses aides between the Nurse Connection Staffing and Waynesburg Central School District between December 2nd, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, as recommended by the superintendent. This agreement shall not be binding on the parties until authorized and signed by each party's respective representative. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Shane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Deb. Any questions or comments on the staffing contract with the Nurse Connection? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on down the agenda to other items. Next, we have approving the CSE minutes. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the recommendation of the CSE meetings and their minutes from December 3rd, 8th, 10th, 14th, 15th, and 23rd of 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Diane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Betsy, right? Any questions or comments on the CSE minutes? Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, moving on down the agenda to approving an MOA between the district and the DTA for hard-to-fill positions. Recommendation, the Board of Education approve the memorandum of agreement between Duanesburg Central School District and the Duanesburg Teachers Association regarding certifications and conditions in hard-to-fill positions as outlined in this MOA. This is recommended by the superintendent, and the agreement shall not be binding until signed by each representative. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Diane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Shane. Any questions or comments on this proposed agreement? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on down the agenda, next is approve a COVID-19 leave memorandum of agreement between the district and bargaining units. Recommendation, the Board of Education approve the COVID-19 leave memorandum of agreement between the following bargaining units. Duanesburg Teachers Association dated July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2024. Duanesburg Education Support Association dated July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2023. Duanesburg Administrators Association dated July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. And the Duanesburg Support Staff Association dated July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. This agreement shall not be binding on the parties until authorized and signed by each party's respective representatives. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Betsy. And a second? Was that
I'll second.
Diane? Oh, Deb. Okay. Any questions or comments on the proposed memorandum of agreement for COVID-19 leave? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next, moving on down the agenda to an addendum item, approving the agreement between Siena College and Duanesburg Central Schools. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the letter agreement between Siena College and the Duanesburg Central School District to offer the courses CSIS 110, Introduction to Computer Science with Multimedia Python Programming, beginning January 2021 and ending January 2021, as recommended by the superintendent and the high school principal. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ooh, was that Tony?
It was Diane.
Diane,
Yeah, sorry.
second it.
And Tony second, sorry. I thought I was pretty good at voices without looking up. I'll keep practicing. Any questions or comments on the proposed agreement? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Moving on to personnel items. First, we have the accepting ECA resignation of M. Hall. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the resignation of Michelle Hall, FBLA advisor, effective December 10th of 2020. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
Thanks, Tony. How about a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Ooh, that might have been a tie. I don't know, Celeste, what do you think? Okay. Any questions or comments on the recommendation? Oh. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now, I saw something that just said that Celeste left the meeting. Did we lose her?
I think we may have lost Celeste when she was trying to unmute.
Oh,
Hit the
no.
hang up button by accident.
I will
Well,
I'll
we-
keep track of the votes until she comes back on.
Oh, boy.
Oh, she is.
She's back.
Okay.
Celeste, we missed you.
We were worried about you.
Yeah, we certainly noticed you dropped off, that's for sure. Okay. So So that was all voted yes on that one, accepting the resignation of M. Hall. Celeste, just in case you didn't hear the whole thing.
I really hate the Chromebook. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. And was it Shane that seconded it?
Well, it was a tie between Shane and Betsy. If we go with Shane, if you heard Shane, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, because I was trying to get on to say I heard Shane first, and then I was gone. So
You are the official record keeper. Whatever
Yep.
you hear.
all right,
Okay.
we're ready to go.
Moving on down to accepting the resignation for retirement of N. Lyons. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the resignation for retirement of Nancy Lyons, elementary school teacher, effective June 30th of 2021. Do I have a motion?
No motion.
Thanks, Teresa. How about a second?
I'll second.
Last call it.
I heard Tony.
All right. Any questions or comments on the resignation of Ms. Lyons? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to the next item, which is approve abolishment of position. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Dwaynesburg Central School District hereby abolishes the position of Director of Physical Education and Instructional Studies in the administrative tenure area, effective June 30th of 2021. The superintendent is directed to notify the affected staff member of this action. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Shane. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Deb. And any questions, comments, or discussion on that resolution? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Okay, moving on down the agenda, we have an addendum item on the agenda, accepting the resignation of S. Perillo. Recommendation, the Board of Education accept the resignation of Sonia Perillo, elementary school teacher aide, effective January 15th of 2021. Do we have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Diane. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Betsy. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Next is approving appointments. Recommendations, the Board of Education approve the following appointments as recommended by the superintendent, high school principal, and athletic director. BCA appointments are for the applicable 2020 to 2021 school year and sports season, beginning with preseason practice and ending at the conclusion of the season, including sectional play. All appointments are employees at will, and the appointment at this time does not guarantee employment for the entire school season, term, or year. The salary for ECA clubs, activities, and athletic positions will be prorated based on the length of the season, term, or year. The operation of certain clubs and activities are subject to COVID-19 related restrictions. And we have two appointments this evening proposed: Ali Tedeschi for spring modified track and field, and Serena Killenberger for a grade 9 class advisor. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thanks, Teresa. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Tony. Any questions or comments on the appointments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so our next item is that we are going to entertain a motion to move into executive session to discuss collective bargaining negotiations, And we anticipate doing no further board business after we come out of the executive session. So do I have a motion to move to executive session under those terms?
I'll motion.
Deb, thanks. And how about a second?
I'll second.
Diane, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We will enter into executive session and join the other link.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Celeste. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh.